Je suis ravie de vous voir.
My name is Ghaith Abdul Ahad. I am a Iraqi writer, journalist, a very accidental journalist. I'm repeating this for some of you here, but I was an architect. I grew up in Baghdad, lived in Baghdad. I was an architect.
You were born 1975?
75, yes, sir. And then...
Who's your family? Mother, father? Seems like the police.
He's talking about my mother.
We want to know from what family you are.
Background is a very, secular. None of my family died under the regime of Saddam, and none of my family joined the regime of Saddam. So the most boring family, if you can imagine. My mother was a teacher, my father just had his job, so nothing serious. Before we go to 2003, my first war was when I was 5, in 1980. And that was my first memory of war, was standing in the bed between my mother and father and looking at Iranian jets in the sky. And then it followed 8 years of war, bombing. But we have to say the 80s war, we were sheltered from that war because it was war in the front. 1 million Iraqi and Iranian died in that war. But we never saw it in the cities unless kind of rockets started falling. My second war was in 1991, and that was a really serious war because that was after Saddam occupied Kuwait, and Baghdad was bombed day and night for nearly 40 days, followed by 13 years of sanctions, and the sanctions really, I would say, destroyed the Iraqi society more than any war because the sanctions did not weaken the regime, did not weaken Saddam, but it destroyed the middle class and the people living in the country. And it's the 90s that basically weakened Iraqi society to a certain extent that any state institutions became nothing but a facade. People went to their sects, went to their tribes, became moved from a kind of a secular society into a more conservative religious society. So the funny thing, when I grew up in Baghdad in the 80s, Iraq was in the facade it was a socialist country. It was a one-party country ruled by the dictator. When I was a child, I thought Saddam was God because he was everywhere. He was in school books, he was on the TV, he was in the pictures.
You know something about it.
Exactly. You open the magazine and you see his picture, you open the newspaper and you see his picture, you open the TV and you see his poems and something. So he dominated Iraq beyond any extent. Now, the narrative that Saddam and the Ba'ath Party were pushing in Iraq at that time is that Iraq's history stretches for 5,000 years of culture, starting with the Sumerians, Babylonians, Arabs, Muslims, then Saddam. So Saddam was the iteration of the 5,000 years of history. And this is the Iraq I grew up in. And we were so bored by Saddam. He not only dominated our lives with fear, but he dominated it with boredom, kind of day and night. Omnipresent. And in the 90s, as people were suffering, he started reinventing himself. So he became a grand novelist, he became the architect, he started dressing in a funny clothes, having these huge birthday parties.
How many books he published?
He published 2 novels.
Really?
Yes, and the 2 novels about this
novels. It's not in speeches.
And the synopsis of these 2 very boring novels is about, again, this kind of tragic figure kind of defending his country against the occupiers, against the thing. That is our life under Saddam. And we all not dreamt actually, we thought, could there ever be life after Saddam? Could there ever be Iraq without Saddam dominating?